Saturday Social is powered by FIFA 22 with PlayStation.
I think there's only one place to start,
Yep.
Joe. It's International Week, bit of an international theme to this show. So the Saturday Social whiteboard is out in all of its glory. We're going to get our guests to pick the 23-man squad that England are going to take to Qatar that's going to bring home the World Cup, Joe.
This is not going to be easy.
Not going to be
I've
easy.
seen about 100 different people do this week, and I haven't seen the same squad once. We've even
A lot
got
of
Gareth
talent.
Southgate up on the board there. Look
We
at
have.
that magnet position.
Bit of criteria. Do you want to explain the rules?
Yeah, absolutely. 23 players going to have to go on the plane. If there's a bit of debate between you two, we'll pick on the best argument, I think, Smithy.
Ooh, okay.
Should we, rather
like
than
that.
just picking our own selections? We've got about 40 magnets in front of Rory here. It's going to be carnage, but we're going to try our best.
He looks stressed already, doesn't he? He looks really stressed.
I can see that this one's going to ramble on. There's going to be a lot of debate.
There
There's
is,
a lot
yeah.
of things to explore here, and I can sense that we're not going to agree.
I think that's fair to say.
Wait, are you looking over them or me and you? Because I'm trying to figure, like, you know, because me, I feel like I'm going to... I feel like you're going to agree with me.
Okay.
I feel like I might.
I'm playing, like, let's go.
Let's go, goalkeepers.
Right.
As Joe said,
I
you've
don't
got to
think-
agree. Any disagreement, best
I
argument
don't
wins.
think there's too much to explore with the goalkeepers. I'm going to put 3 up, and I'm going to leave out our dear friend Henderson. Does anybody have any major issues with that?
No, he can bounce.
He's gone. He's gone. He's
Yeah.
not playing enough.
Who are the 3? Go on.
Which means...
I think I know who you're going to put.
Look, come on. There's no arguments here, is there? Surely. That sells itself.
So, Bayo, do you agree with those 3? Anything different that you do with the keepers?
No, I'm cool with it. Yeah, that's my guy at the moment.
Who starts is more of a
Yeah, that's
an
my
issue,
guy,
think.
man. I think
But,
he starts.
Yeah, he's been...
Ramsdale
Yeah,
starts for you.
Ramsdale starts for me.
Okay.
Yeah,
he
I
starts
think-
for me.
I think-
And he's Arsenal, and that's how you know I like him, because he's Arsenal, you know what I'm saying? Like, but no, Ramsdale starts. I think he's been on job this season.
Henderson goes on the stay-at-home section then.
Yeah,
Rory,
we've
just
thrown
so
him
you
on
know.
the
Sorry, I
table.
launched him.
Discarded him.
I launched him away. Yeah,
like,
he was gone.
Completely.
Discarded him.
So,
Right.
number
Hendo,
1
where
for
you at?
Bayo. Just very quickly, Rory, who's your number 1?
My number 1 currently,
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's Ramsdale. I think
Okay.
the way that he's like conducted himself at Arsenal, he's become like the sort of cheerleader, obviously so integral to the way that they play. I think he's a brilliant keeper. And when you think about what's going on with Everton and Pickford, there is only one winner here for me.
Yeah, playing really well, Ramsdale. One thing I will say, though, Pickford never lets England down, does he? When he pulls on the England shirt. So it'll be interesting to see
But
what
this
happens
is
to
the
that.
mentality that is causing us problems, Smithy. You're already displaying it. I can see where this is going to
Oh!
This is the,
Damn!
Wow, it's not even my team.
but this is
Whoa!
the mentality.
But I disagree straight off the back, because I get what he's saying, but we can get to that when we get to that.
Let's
You know
get
what I'm
to
saying?
it. Okay,
There is-
fullback.
Right, Chilwell goes. Any disagreement?
Even with the ACL problem?
He's been injured.
Remember, he is
When does
an
he come back?
incredible player. By the time we go, like, remember,
the
we're
date
not
of
going
his
to be on a
return
plane
from
until
injury
December.
hasn't been announced yet, because obviously it's a serious long-term injury, but obviously the tournament isn't till November, December, so
Should be back for the start of next season, though.
should
When
be
you
back
think about
for
how
it.
good he was for Chelsea on that run to the Champions League, he was integral to everything good that Thomas
To be
Tuchel
fair,
was
he's on
doing.
job. I'll give you at the moment,
Yeah.
because I was about to contradict myself. But yeah, I'll give you that.
Now, this one, bit of debate. Where do you sit here?
Kyle Walker-Peters.
What are you thinking?
Just been called up, hasn't he?
Just been called up, had a great season, can offer versatility at
Versatile
left back
on both,
and
yeah.
right back.
That's interesting.
He
because
don't
I
get
think-
right back.
No.
Period.
No, but having a player that is capable of deputising if you get injuries is valuable in
Is
itself,
there
isn't
another fullback that can deputise at both positions that Gareth
He
Southgate has
doesn't-
relied upon?
he don't
like
make
Kieran
it.
Trippier,
Kieran
like in the
Trippier,
past,
And
potentially.
the
I-
interesting one with Trippier is that he has been used a lot because of his versatility. He's played left back and right back, and he's played wing back. He's
Ooh,
played in
to
a
be
lot of
fair, saying
positions
that, you talk
for
about Trips and that, like, but Trips is a
for
baller
England.
as well.
Southgate used him a lot. Started in the
Is there any
final
other
as well.
names in the pile that you think you can
put him on-
definitely put
yeah,
up?
put-
Oh,
on
yeah.
the
So,
pause.
should we,
Let's go
well, I mean, look,
defense.
Alexander-Arnold, there's no debate,
Best fullback
right?
in the world.
Let's get
Second
back.
best.
Bayo's obviously a big Liverpool fan. Let's just get your thoughts on Trent, because what a season he's having.
Best fullback in the world. I don't care, man. And this is not even. And yeah, slightly it is because I'm Liverpool as well. I ain't gonna lie to you. But nah, you know the worst thing is, as I see him more and more, and I know that people want to talk about his defending, and I see Klopp come out and said, "Nah, man, well, he can defend, and he can." Do you know what I'm saying? But it's because he's so good at going forward, so good. You're now thinking, if he could defend like that, well, if he could defend how good he was going forward, well, he'd be the best player in history.
I agree with you. It's
You know
become
what
one
I'm
of those
saying?
myths, hasn't it? It's become one of those myths in football that people seem to present as fact. Trent Alexander-Arnold can't defend. It's just said, and it's completely not true.
Yeah.
Very inaccurate.
Okay, another one.
Okay,
then
so
to
put
get
the
up.
ones on you think.
Right, I'm going to put some up as...
Boy, Reece
No
James.
doubt. No doubt, right?
What?
No doubt
Nah,
he
blame
can't.
He's a baller as well.
No
He's
doubt.
a baller as well. He goes.
It's a very young fullback line so far.
No
Ooh.
doubt. No doubt.
100% goal.
Yeah.
No
So we're
doubt.
going for 3 right backs.
No doubt. But they have to go, though. There is no doubt.
Because they weren't originally on the list for the Euros. Let's not forget that Trent
Yeah, but that's
axed by Gareth.
that's because
Trent-
of this
Trent
man.
was- Trent got the injury before the squad.
Yeah, that's why. You know, and
yeah.
I don't question Gareth because he's a boss and that, but I question him on this one. He's going, so he knows.
He's got to go.
I'll hit him up on
Okay.
WhatsApp. He's going.
He's got to go. This
Trent did have the injury as well,
there's
but no.
debate. I think I really don't know where I sit on this one. I'm presenting you
Luke
Luke
Shaw.
Shaw.
Crucial part of England's Euro 2020 squad. Was one of the best players at the tournament. Scored in the final, of course, for England, but has had a poor season, hasn't he?
Dreadful season. I think.
Can Peters play on the left?
Yes.
Carl
He's
Walker
played,
Peters you're talking
he's
about.
played there quite a lot when Tino
Yeah.
Livramento's played on
He
the
can
right
play-
for Southampton.
Play 'em both, yeah.
And we've also then got, if you're thinking about cover, we need to talk about Kieran Trippier imminently. But I think that Kieran Trippier's form at Newcastle could have a detrimental impact on whether Luke Shaw goes.
Wow.
Do you think Luke Shaw should go?
Well, I think the issue is without Luke Shaw there, you've only got one natural left footer in all of your fullback ranks, which I think is a bit of a problem in Ben Chilwell. I think Luke Shaw, for me, if we're going based on, like, Pickford was fantastic for England, Luke Shaw hasn't really let England down yet under Gareth Southgate. It's been quite a consistent selection.
Do you think he should go, Smith?
Neither is Trippier either, though, worth putting out. And Trippier's been played in both positions on either side under Southgate, started the final as well. It's interesting. I think if he's playing the back three, which we know he does, Kyle Walker also can play the right side of the back three. So I think all of those three on the board probably do go. Trent, Reece and Kyle Walker. It's a great problem to have, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think versatility for Trippier is a huge thing. Where do you sit, Bayo, on the Luke Shaw,
See, I like him.
Kieran Trippier? Because they both could go, couldn't they? They're two huge players for England.
And I'm about balance as well. I think balance is key. But also, I do think that, especially they do play in the wing back. I'll take Trippier over Luke Shaw.
And then
Tariq
there is
Lamptey.
an added layer
right
to this
or left?
conversation.
Right.
Well, he's right, but I think he's good enough to...
No, not for now. Not for now. But he's one for the future.
Okay, so you're
But not
just to
for now.
confirm, you're currently debating for the final fullback position out of Trippier and Luke Shaw.
I feel like the three need to be kind of seen as one because whatever one goes will have an impact on the other.
No. Look, Carl Walker Peters is above
Above
Tariq Lamptey.
Lamptey for me.
Okay, so
Okay,
Lamptey,
so
by that
Lamptey's
logic,
definitely staying
Lamptey's
at home.
not
Lamptey
going.
stays
Okay.
in that. And my guy
Disappointing.
Lamptey, he's a baller. Trust me, he's going
Yeah.
to be there. I've said this. But if we're picking for this,
I'm going to put Lamptey. I'm going to put
Carl Walker
Walker
Peters.
Peters here as well.
Okay.
Therefore, it comes down to: is it Trippier or is it Luke Shaw?
see, you know what the funny thing is? See, you just contradicted yourself in the sense of... So you said about when he made his point about never letting down X, Y and Z. For form, if you're talking about coming through, bursting through, getting called up, he would come in over
Sure.
Shaw, especially this season. Shaw hasn't been up, he hasn't done his thing. So it's not like I'm disrespecting him. So if you're off of that, saying, you know what, moving England forward, young, vibrant, going off of current form, you would pick this you over.
Maybe you'd even pick Tyreek Mitchell, who's had a sensational season, got a call up to the
squad,
England
hasn't he?
squad. I think
Yeah.
second most tackles in the Premier League. Very young, naturally left-sided.
See, where I'd be leaning would be to what Gareth Southgate did in the Euros, which is when he went rogue and played Trippier left.
Yeah.
For me, I think these boys are good enough to play left and right. I think you have to have a left footer along your team for balance. I just talk about for balance. But these boys are good enough to
make
play
a-
a left foot and a
Let's
right
make a
foot.
What's
decision
happening?
then. Let's make a
Interesting
decision.
one as well.
You've got to
Luke
pick
Shaw,
one of the
Kieran
three.
Trippier both started in the final for England, didn't they?
Got to pick one of
And
the
one
three.
of them.
One of those three go.
Go on, Bayo. You make the decision.
Trippier.
I agree.
Okay.
Okay, there you
Alright,
go
So
then.
Luke Shaw hasn't gone.
Wow. That's a big call, isn't it? Not putting
That has surprised me.
Luke Shaw in there.
I'm surprised
Luke
that
Shaw
has
has
to be
not
said.
gone.
Yeah.
I think I would have taken Luke Shaw, but never.
Remember how
Over
excited you
Trippier.
were when he scored in the final? And now
I would have taken him
he's
over
not
Over
even
Trippier, yeah?
Yeah, just because I think you need left footers in there.
And to be fair, that's the argument I'd come back with the balance, but I'll take Trippier because I just think...
But it's irrelevant whether you're left-footed or not if you're terrible at football. And his form this season has been terrible. So it's all very well.
He's not necessarily terrible.
Whoa.
Terrible.
Big man thing. And you know what the worst thing is? Where, and this is talking from a footballer's perspective. So, yes, he's dipped in the sense of not having a good season. But to use the word terrible, he plays for one of the biggest clubs in the world. And when you play for... And yes, form is temporary. There's no debating the brother's got ability. There's no debating.
Absolutely, but we have to judge him by the standards, don't we? We have to judge him by those high standards.
No, but not necessarily, because that's what managers come in and be able to get what they need to get for tournament football. And that's what it is. It is not the duration of a season. So when a manager comes in and says, well, you know what, I know when there's pressure, and he's done it before. That's what managers come. You can't turn around and say, oh yeah, boom, it's because he's been crap for the whole season off of people's. A manager comes in and says, listen, I know what to get out of you because I've got it out of you before. So when you make the statement about being terrible, for me, that can't fly because he's done it. Yeah, so he's maybe gone through a patch now, but managers know. And that's why managers be playing these players and calling them on because they can count on them.
But by that logic, that means that we're going to have to select all players that have been decent in the past.
No, it's not.
But we're going to come to Harry Maguire, who's also been terrible.
But managers have a day-to-day relationship. So you're saying, oh, by that logic. But no, a manager who has dealt with players before can turn around and say, well, you know what? I know, crunch time, I can call on him. And if that's where it is, so be it. We can have an opinion from here, but off of logic, there is experiences that managers already have that we are not privy to.
But you see, this then brings us on to what Southgate recently said about Harry Maguire, which I didn't really understand. That Harry Maguire's form has been
Let's
so
talk
bad.
about Harry Maguire then. Let's
get to Maguire.
Let's go to
But
centre-backs.
There was a conversation recently with Gareth Southgate where he spoke about Harry Maguire, and he said it never entered his head that Harry Maguire wouldn't be selected for England.
Yeah.
And you think, why not? Why? Surely, as a manager, it's your responsibility to have that internal conversation and explore whether Harry Maguire's form deserves to play for England. Of course, he's been very good for England in the past. Of course, he's been very good for Manchester United at various points. But his form consistently has been so bad. What sort of message does that send to Conor Cody, for example? If the manager of England can watch Harry Maguire week in, week out play this level of football and not once explore whether he should be selected for England or not.
OK, and I'm with you on that in the sense of for other players. But if you are a manager and every time you've selected a player, he's never let you down, that's your ream. Well, he can turn around and go watch him for his club and say, you know what, there's mitigating circumstances which is going on, but when he plays for me, bruv, he produces. That's what he's going to go off.
So you'd have him in, Maguire?
Yeah, Maguire goes.
But
Maguire goes.
But should it not simply be, when you play for England, should it not be a meritocracy? If you are good enough, if you've been playing well enough, you play.
So so in that, Kane didn't score for a period of time. Do you always take Kane?
Yes, you do.
So then you've just defeated your argument.
No, but
But you've just defeated your argument because you know. But hold on. Why do you always take Kane? Why would you always take Kane?
Because simply not scoring isn't his only job. Isn't his only responsibility. Kane was playing well despite not scoring.
Okay, all right. So it comes back to that point, right? So you always take a player because you know when it comes down to it, and we'll all say it, when it comes down to you on the big games, he's the one that's going to step up. We all say that. And if you turn around and say you don't, then I'm telling you, you're a liar. We'll sit down and say, you know what? When we know, boy, big games, Kane's going to turn up. Goal scorer, bags man. We would say that. No matter if he hasn't scored all season, we're like, yo, give him the opportunity, he's going bang. We know that. And that's on the outside looking in. So if a manager turns around and says, look, you know what? When it comes to crunch time or tournament football, I know he's going to step up for me. I know what he brings. Because you're turning around saying, Kane may not just score, but he's a ball player. So he may go, look, for me, Harry Maguire in the change room brings more than just what he brings. We are not privy to all that.
So
but it's not, because there's individual players. It's not for everybody.
So that means Maguire goes because he had a good Euros.
But it's not for everybody.
So Maguire plays by his own rules. Maguire doesn't have to demonstrate.
No, it's the manager. It's not the own rules. It's managers picking.
We have to make a selection then, lads. Do we want to take Maguire?
He doesn't go. I'm going to die on his
hill. He goes.
He's not on the table then. Let's decent that will go.
He goes.
We'll come back
to it.
It's a very heated debate.
Harry Maguire goes.
You boys need to be the arbiters here.
Yeah, of course. You're up for me.
It goes for me, Harry Maguire.
So it's a shutdown.
How can he go?
Smithy, Joe, you the man as well.
I think that because Gareth will play a back three.
Joe, be true to yourself. Be the man that you want to be. Of course he doesn't go.
He's had a terrible season, but when he plays in a back three, he's very good.
End the story.
Yeah, I think there does come back to the argument about how he's played for England.
Let's put something that will definitely go there. Let's put some names for the debut.
We do need to
I do know what you mean,
push on with the rest of the...
OK, Mings.
It's an interesting debate. It's one that other people have had.
Tyrone Mings doesn't go.
We can pause.
You like his left foot, don't you?
We can pause.
Who else we got?
Who are you?
I think Ben White goes.
Definitely. He's had a stunning
season. Yeah, he goes. He's on job, to be fair, this
Arsenal.
season.
He's had the most clean sheets of any English defender.
See, now this is where I fundamentally disagree with Gareth Southgate. Victor Mori's superb. I cannot believe that we're operating in a world where Fix Rory isn't selected.
First for tackles, interceptions, blocks.
And the worst thing is I haven't watched too much of him, but before he went...
First for tackles, interceptions, blocks, clearances and completed passes at Milan, plays all the time.
And they're top
sings
of the
his
league.
praises.
And when Paolo Maldini,
He goes.
one of the best players over 3 decades.
Say less, he goes, say less.
Okay.
He goes.
Brilliant.
So who...
Stones. This is
Stones
interesting.
nailed on, surely.
Got to go, surely.
I mean, he hasn't started 9 Premier League games.
Top player though, John Stones, got to go, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on, right? And I'm with you in that. I think he's a bad boy player. I do. But he's only played 9 games this season. So if you've got somebody like Means that plays every game.
Badly.
So he's played...
It's every game badly, isn't it? You've got one geezer who plays 9 well. You've got another geezer who plays
about Maguire,
Of that logic.
But if we've talked about Maguire being consistently good for England, Stones in the same realm at the Euros.
No. The worst thing is I'm with you in the sense, and I guess I'm throwing this in for debate purposes, in the sense where, no, I think Stones is on job. I do. I actually check
what I think is worth pointing out with John Stones is that the players that might be playing ahead of him, like Diaz, Laporte, are incredible players.
Not getting
I get that, but he's still got to play though, right?
It's not indicative of him
But he's still
not
got to
playing
play,
every
though.
game.
Lads, we're going to have to shift it on a bit because we are running out of time rapidly. We're running out of time
Cody
rapidly.
Margay. I think Cody goes.
Yeah.
I think Cody goes just because I like him as well, but it's
Good
you
in the
know
dressing
how
room.
good he is
the
because
dressing room.
everybody speaks about him.
Famous quote was there, Steve Holland saying who's the most important player at the Euros. He said Connor Cody,
Yeah,
despite the fact he
so-
didn't play because of what he does.
Who have you got in your hand there, Bayo?
Means.
Mings is also going to be staying at home in your
Yeah,
list,
he
right?
can jam then.
Okay, so we've got to push
Wow,
on now.
Gahey just breezed over as well, but he's down
Sorry, big man. No, but you've got, listen, he's a pup. He's coming true.
Yeah,
So
he's still
say
young.
that. Yeah, man, you're good.
Okay.
You're good.
Midfielders then. There's a few names on here that are nailed on, right?
so we do
Should we put the ones that are nailed on there?
Well, are they nailed on? They haven't agreed on a lot, so we don't know.
Mason Mounts, Declan Rice.
Right, let's get Declan Rice up there.
We know, probably the best central midfielder in the league at times this season.
Right.
Declan
And
Rice,
Bayo, as
right?
he's putting these on, I presume you're agreeing with all of these. The ones
Yeah,
he's putting
man.
on.
Mason
There's
Mount.
no
D
disagreement.
Rice is the guy, cuz.
No disagreement with these, is there?
Yeah. Mount, yeah, he's on job as well.
Jude Bellingham.
Yeah, he's on job.
Yeah.
He goes. 100.
Jordan Henderson.
100%. That's not even a
No,
debate.
Totally agree.
Bellingham,
Jude Bellingham,
next,
100%.
yeah.
Yeah,
Go,
yeah,
isn't he?
Okay, now we're getting into it. Here's an interesting one.
I think you've got maximum one more
You've got
selection.
Calvin
really.
Phillips there. Don't forget, he was England's player of the year. Played
Yeah, he
all
was
the
on job,
time in
but
the
he's
tournament.
been-
He's been injured. He's been out of
injured
position
on
as well.
that,
So
so that's-
where do you sit with Calvin Phillips?
I think he's a baller. I can only go off the mandems that I played.
Yeah.
And I know it'll be next season as well, innit? There'll be a bit of next season to go into it. But if we're going off of now, Phillips ain't played. Yeah. That's all what I'm going off.
Wow.
All these mandem here have played.
Agreed?
That's just at the moment.
Wow.
I completely agree with that.
That's just at the moment. But he's a baller. So if he comes next season, then boy, it's a different
So we've
conversation.
got one more position, one more central
I'm
midfielder.
saying all this. Who else is in
We've
there
got
first?
one more position, and it's between Conor Gallagher, James Ward-Prowse, and Harvey Elliott.
You talking about a wild card, yeah? Well, Harvey Elliott goals for me.
I think, look, the thing is with Harvey Elliott, I think he's brilliant. If he was playing for any other club in the league, I think he'd play as one of the front three. I think that's how good he is. He's just at Liverpool and therefore can't get into one of the front three.
So do you think the lack of game time might be his downfall?
I think the lack of just the competition at Liverpool, the fact that he's playing for such a brilliant team, it's hard. It's hard to get in. And I genuinely believe if he wasn't at Liverpool, he'd be one of the front three at virtually any other team in the league.
But Conor Gallagher is having the season of his life so far.
I tweeted the other day about Conor Gallagher.
Brilliant, isn't
He is on job.
And
like proper.
And let's not forget Ward-Prowse.
He's a bad man as well with the free kicks.
The one thing I will say is,
proper
the one thing I will say is, in terms of balance, and you spoke about it earlier, there's a lot of players that want to play in that 10 space in Foden and Grealish, in Mason Mount. Do you need another Gallagher who wants to be the more advanced midfielder, as Ward-Prowse is happy to sit in a turn?
Nah, man, that's why I put Harvey Elliott. Harvey Elliott goes over me, and that's the reason why, because it's the same debate. And this is not Liverpool. It's not, even though I checked for my brother as well, you know what I'm saying? But it's not Liverpool. The reason why also, because, like you said, innit, the people that's in front of Stones are world class.
Yeah.
And that's the same with Harvey Elliott. The people in front of him are world class. But what he's learning, and when the starts he does not look out of place. Plus, he's got that little jink. He takes the ball in different positions. And you know, we're talking about expressing themselves with England.
Yeah.
I think Harvey Elliott, out of that, he's the different. Out of them three, like, I think he's the difference. I'd take Harvey Elliott over Ward-Prowse.
Let's make a decision then. What do you think?
Yeah, because I think Rice and Bellingham can start, or Rice and Henderson can start, and then it's about expression. So Ward-Prowse is going to struggle. It's then, so for me, Ward-Prowse is going to struggle. I rate him so highly.
Wow,
great on set pieces.
I rate him so highly.
I rate him
I think he's a
highly,
brilliant box-to-box midfielder.
Yeah.
One of the best at what he does. It's just this is elite. This England
They've
squad
got to make
is
the
elite.
decision.
I think Ward-Prowse is out.
Yeah, I'm blessed with that.
Okay, which means, help me now, because I'm really struggling. Gallagher, form of his life, scores goals, but Harvey Elliott feels...
Yeah, it's cool. Let's just go Harvey.
Wow, Conor Gallagher.
What a
season.
huge
8
shout
goals,
that is,
3 assists
No,
for
he's
Conor
on job.
Gallagher.
Listen, this is England.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when you're talking about, you're right, it is the elite. And it's margins.
I am
And I'm a Liverpool supporter.
shocked.
So how many we've got left?
Right.
How many spaces have we got left then?
So I'm going to put some up that definitely go, right?
So do you want to put up the ones?
Only 5.
Okay, so Phil Foden goes. We don't need to debate that. Agreed?
Yeah, 100%.
Definitely.
Phil Foden goes. Does Jack Grealish go? No debate.
Definitely.
Ooh, I sensed
there's
some...
more obvious
There was some
names,
vibes coming.
There's more
No,
obvious
the only reason
names.
why, just because I would say 100%, but then man said 5, so there's only 4 left.
So put the obvious ones that...
So,
Okay, so Kane needs to go.
yeah.
Obviously.
Yep. Rory's desperately hunting here. I would also say...
What I will say to Rory, there's a lot of magnets to get through.
done well.
Very
He's done
well.
really
mate.
well.
So Kane is there. So now the
Yeah, you better find Sterling.
Surely Sterling.
Sterling.
Yeah, that's not even a conversation.
Isn't it?
Nah.
Are you counting, Joe?
No. Not
Is
even
there a debate about Sterling?
No debate.
You don't think
No
Raheem
debate, no
Sterling
debate,
should
no
be...
debate.
Just because it means
In the
Sancho. We've got Sancho.
Yeah, no debate.
Still Sterling.
Yeah, Sterling.
Surely
No
Raheem
debate, no
Sterling
debate, no
makes your
debate.
squad. So
No debate, no debate.
No, I'm not saying that he doesn't make my squad. I'm just saying that we're about to get to some very good footballers that are probably going to have to be left out.
The 3 where you're just talking about...
Okay.
He's
Sterling
score at
is-
the Euros, let's not forget.
Yeah. It's just there's no debate at Sterling.
We've only got 2 more spaces left.
Now is the debate.
Who have you got? You got...
Okay, so it's Marcus Rashford.
See, for me, he goes.
No.
But that's for me. But for me, he goes. But throw out who else?
Go on, why did he not go for you, Rory?
Throw out who else?
He's not good enough to play at this level. He's not good enough to play at this level. This is top tier. This England team this year. Look, if this was in 2014 when England were taking Ricky Lambert to a World Cup, of course he goes.
Let me
but
tell you
he's not
something.
going
Put
now.
another name up there then.
Bob, I'm sorry. Can we check what my man's drinking? No, real bars, because what rolls off your tongue is
Bayo,
different.
would you take him or Bukayo Saka then?
I just want to...
Or Jadon Sancho.
I just want to talk. He goes over Sancho for me, and Sancho's a baller. And when I say this, it is percentages in this. Saka goes for me though.
All right, let's get Saka up then.
He
I would
goes for
totally
me.
agree. Saka is a nailed-on
He's got
name,
a goal.
man.
He's got a goal.
So Saka goes.
By the way, we
Yeah.
haven't got Jack Grealish on.
We've only got one spot left.
And this is the reason why.
This is what I mean.
This is the reason why.
Because I've got to make a strong case for Tammy Abraham.
That's a good one.
See what I mean?
Oh, brother, that's a good one.
Boys, what you might have to do is you have got a lot of fullbacks, and this was the South
Yeah.
And the midfield area as well.
5 fullbacks.
Look, I'm an attacker, so
Tammy goes.
He goes.
Tammy's in.
Tammy's in.
Agreed.
Tammy's
That's
in.
full 23 there. So
Yeah,
that's currently
cool. So
23.
people are bouncing.
Okay, so now we're subbing.
Yeah,
people
now we're
out.
subbing. Yeah,
You've not got Sancho currently.
Mate, we haven't got Jack Grealish.
Grealish goes.
We've got so
Grealish goes.
Grealish goes. And we have to lose.
Hold on. Let me tell you who else
is a mess.
goes. Let me
This
tell
is
you
a
who else
mess.
goes. Hold on, let me check. Man, the worst thing is, bruv, he's been on job as well this season.
Jared Bowen, that is.
Bruv,
Jared Bowen.
he's been on job, but next time, you get me?
So you've currently got, you're looking at,
Let me
just
see
so we
who's-
can
who's
see
in your
them
hands.
holding up, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Marcus Rashford.
Yeah, bless, he's good in that, but
Sancho,
he don't go.
you've not got either.
Oh, Bloodfire.
All right, so let's put some players on the stay-at-home
Bayo,
column.
you've
So
made a
Dominic
pig's ear in
Calvert-Lewin
this,
can
man.
go
You've
stay-at-home.
made a pig's ear in this. You're too generous. So you needed to be more stringent early.
Yeah.
Look,
Boys,
he
you could-
can't go. Marcus Rashford cannot go.
We've got too many defenders.
You could potentially get rid of another centre mid as well. You've got 4 very much central midfielders on there. With does Harvey Elliott go over Jack Grealish, for instance? In that, you might be able
that's
to.
a sub. That's a sub. Grealish for Elliott.
And Harvey's my guy.
I rate Harvey so highly
He's
as
my
well.
guy,
but
but I'm done.
that's the
I'm
move.
going. Grealish goes.
Grealish goes.
He goes.
Do you agree that Rashford doesn't yet? Can't do it, can you? He's
Bayo's
really
so
good.
nice.
No, do you know what? Let me tell you why.
We've got to speed you up, guys.
Let me tell you
Run out
why.
of time.
Because for me, I think Tammy's been on flames, and I think because he's not been here, he's kind of getting overlooked. But I'm off the ream that first that about he can't play in this. That's nonsense. He literally can, but
He needs to prove it then, because I haven't seen that kind of form to suggest
Oh,
it.
snap.
Got to push you guys.
It's one. If you think Rashford goes, I think you're going to have to sub one of these three, and there's no way
currently got
Rashford is better than
23.
any of these three. There is no way that Rashford gets in ahead of Sterling, Saka.
Rory, got to
or
make a
Abraham.
decision.
I've made it.
Okay.
I've made it.
Hold on, big man, hold on. I'm trying to see who can go.
Is there any
further
other
back.
names in
Any
here
other
that you
name?
want to mix in?
Sancho.
Emile Smith-Rowe, scoring
Nah,
goals.
Sancho, to be, and I'm
Sancho,
saying this,
Smith-Rowe, Cameron
Sancho's
Bowen
been
don't
on
go for
job,
you.
especially with, recently. He's
See,
look,
I'd be
to
taking
fair,
Elliott. I'd get rid of a fullback now and take
Me-
Elliott.
Oh, my word.
I think Elliott has to
I ain't
go.
gonna lie, me, I think you over. There's too many back here.
We've got to make a decision
Right,
now. We're
guys,
running over.
We're running over
There's too
time.
many back
Go on,
here,
make
man.
Okay, right. So Calvert-Lewin's not going.
Is that
no
your 23,
problem.
Bo? You
This
happy? That's your 23.
We're leaving Smith-Rowe out.
Yeah,
That doesn't
yeah,
sit
yeah.
comfortably.
But
Okay.
Smith Rowe leaving, man. Try, man, whatever.
Okay, so there is confirmation.
No,
We can carry
man,
this on at the
no.
break.
There's no
We'll carry this on the
confirmation.
break. You're allowed one sub in the break if you change your mind, but that is
All right,
confirmation
all right, I'm
of
gonna
their
change that.
23.
I'm gonna-
Some big names not in. They've not included Luke Shaw. They've not included Rashford, and they've not included Sancho. Let us know what you think, home, of this 23. We got there in the end. We didn't really.
They
get
don't
there,
pay
did
me
we?
the
They're
money
still
for
debating
this.
it. Very, very controversial. Let us know what you think.